Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Cycle on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, has urged Nigerians to celebrate those who are cancer-free while bringing awareness to the need for improved cancer care. This is contained in a statement to mark World Cancer Day. She emphasized the need to expand access to cancer care and support for patients and survivors. Tinubu also urged continued advocacy and awareness efforts to improve service delivery. The Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, Bennett Igwe, has ordered a clampdown on vehicles without number plates or with a single number plate plying FCT roads. According to a statement by FCT Police Public Relations Officer SP Josephine Ade, CP Igwe made this known when he met with members of the management team, leaders of all tactical units and heads of departments of the FCT Police Command, comprising area commanders and divisional police officers, tasking heads of the tactical units to identify black spots and possible kidnappers' dens in the territory and ensure they take fight to them. The federal government has restated its commitment to advancing the fight against cancer through research, education, and advocacy. The government explained that its goal was to improve cancer prevention, diagnosis, and treatment, as well as to enhance the quality of life for cancer patients and survivors. Addressing a press conference in Abuja to mark this year's World Cancer Day, the Director General of the National Institute for Cancer Research and Treatment, Professor Usman Malami Aliyu, explained that the commitment of the present federal administration to driving progress in cancer care extends to fostering innovation and discovery through substantial funding for cancer research in Nigeria. The federal government has warned states and local governments to steer clear of the collection of royalties and taxes from licensed miners operating in their domains. Minister of Solid Minerals Development, Dele Alake, who gave the warning in Kaduna, also stated that miners and operators owe the federal government more than 2 trillion naira, calling on them to pay the debt. Dele said operators must pay on a monthly basis royalties and taxes to the federal government, adding that the administration of President Bola Tinubu was determined to halt the activities of illegal miners across the country. Now, the Minister of Youth Development, Jamila Biu Ibrahim, has stated that there's uncertainty regarding a potential increase in the monthly allowance for serving members of the National Youth Service Corps, NYSC, by the federal government. In January 2020, the FG approved payment of 33,000 naira from 19,000 naira to corps members as monthly allowance about a year after former President Muhammadu Buhari signed the new minimum wage bill into law in April 2019. Speaking during a television interview, Biu Ibrahim stated that the government will find innovative ways to cater for corps members' welfare amid dwindling oil revenues. Bauchi State Government has distributed food, non-food items and cash to over 2,085 internally displaced persons, IDPs, in 5 communities of Toro local government area. The IDPs recently migrated to Bauchi State as a result of the civil unrest in Mangu, Bokos and Barki Ladi local government areas of Plateau State. The items, which include 100 bags of maize, 65 bags of rice and 25 gallons of vegetable oil, 5 cartons of Maggi, 5 bags of salt, 135 mats, 135 blankets, several utensils and 1 million naira cash were shared among the IDPs in Tilden Fulani, Gualjarandi, Magama Kari, Kajole and Takanda IDP settlements in all the local government areas of Bauchi. The residents of Mina, the Niger State capital, have flooded the streets to protest the rising cost of food and living in the state. The protesters in large numbers blocked the Mina Bida Road at the popular Pakungu roundabout as early as 7 a.m. today. Efforts by the police to control the crowd almost resulted in violence as protesters asked police to leave, forcing the police to fire several shots in the air to disperse them. Now, an overnight fire incident has left more than 20 shops damaged and goods worth millions lost at Sango Juiri Market in Ibadan North local government area of Oyo State. The inferno, a third of such in the city since the beginning of the year, did not record any casualty. The fire occurred as a result of an electric malfunction. Moving on, President Bola Tinubu has been urged to investigate the allegations that $3.4 billion loan obtained from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) is missing, diverted, or unaccounted for. Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, also called SERAP, which made the call in a statement today, specifically said it wants the President to direct the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi and appropriate anti-corruption agencies to promptly probe the allegations. SERAP's Deputy Director Kolawole Oluwadare said the request followed the 2020 annual audited report published last week by the Auditor General of the Federation, indicating, among other revelations, that there was no document to show the movement and spending of the IMF loan. The Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors has demanded clarity over the waivers granted to hospitals by the federal government for the employment of health workers in a bid to enhance health care delivery, urging the federal government to shed more light on the recent declaration of the Federal Executive Council on the relief of waiver for recruitment from the head of service for prompt follow-up. The FG had in January authorized the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare to approve recruitment requests made by qualifying health institutions. The decision, which was taken at the Federal Executive Council, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pati, said would accelerate the hiring of healthcare workers and reduce delays. Central Bank Governor Olayemi Cardoso has explained that the ongoing initiatives to relocate departments and personnel to other branches are responses to the current overpopulation at the headquarters. Speaking earlier today, the governor lamented the sensational slant to the issue, saying the process was normal for any vibrant entity like a central bank. According to him, the move was to align the bank's structure with its functions and objectives and redistribute skills to ensure a more even geographical spread of talent. There has been outrage following the Apex Bank's decision to redeploy over 1,500 personnel from its headquarters to other branches in the country. Now, the Federal High Court sitting in Abuja on Monday denied bail to 5 persons accused of invading, vandalizing, and burning down the River State House of Assembly complex. The defendants, Chime Eguma Eze Balike, Prince Lukman Oladele, Kenneth Goodluck Basa, Osiga Donat, and Ochweja Tangot, are answering a 7-count terrorism charge that was preferred against them by the Inspector General of Police. Police alleged that the defendants, in the wake of the political crisis that rocked the state in October last year, had invaded the House of Assembly complex in a bid to frustrate an attempt to impeach Governor Siminalayi Fubara. You're watching News Cycle, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When News Cycle returns, Naira faces fierce dollar amid improved FX liquidity. The news continues shortly with details of this and more stories right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, if you've just joined us, this is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the news cycle. And on the foreign scene, 19 people, with one of them a humanitarian worker, have died in ethnic clashes over the weekend in the Abyei region, straddling the border between Sudan and South Sudan, and claimed by both local authorities, has said. Violence between the two countries is common in the oil-rich territory, with 54 people killed last week alone, including 2 UN peacekeepers. Another 64 people were injured in fighting last week between 2 tribes of the main ethnic Dinka and Abyei-based Ngok and their Twig rivals from the neighboring southern state of Warrap. Both sides have sought to press their own claims since the South gained independence in 2011, whereupon the area was placed under UN protection. Security forces used tear gas to disperse an opposition rally outside Senegal's parliament on Monday, shortly before the start of the contentious debate and postponing this month's presidential election. Senegal has been grappling with a political crisis since President Macky Sall on Saturday announced a delay to the February 25th presidential poll just hours before campaigning was set to officially begin. Female opposition leaders have denounced the move as a constitutional coup, saying it is an assault on democracy. The government also suspended mobile data last June amid high tensions in the country. The measure has become a common response to curb mobilization and communication via social networks. It comes a day after violent street protests shook Dhaka, during which security forces also fired tear gas at demonstrators, and at least one senior opposition figure was arrested. U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken headed to the Middle East for another crisis tour on Monday in a bid to secure a new truce in the Israel-Hamas war, as southern Gaza saw no let-up in fighting. On his 5th trip to the region since Hamas's October 7 attack that triggered the war, Blinken is expected to visit Saudi Arabia, Israel, Egypt, and Qatar. Ahead of the trip, he stressed the need for urgently addressing humanitarian needs in Gaza after 8 groups have repeatedly sounded the alarm over the devastating impact on the besieged territory of nearly 4 months of war. Dubbed a pressure cooker of despair by the United Nations, Rafah now hosts more than half of Gaza's population displaced due to Israel's assault. Now, the death toll from central Chile's blazing wildfire climbed to at least 112 people on Sunday after President Gabriel Boric warned the number would rise significantly as teams search gutted neighborhoods. Responders continue to battle fires in the coastal tourist region of Valparaiso amid an intense summer heat wave, with temperatures soaring to 40 degrees Celsius over the weekend. The Interior Ministry said that the Medical Examiner's Office had received 112 dead victims, 32 of whom have been identified, and there are 40 fires still active in the country. Speaking earlier in Quilpue, a devastated hillside community near Vina del Mar, Boric had said the death toll was 64, but no, it is going to increase significantly, adding that it was the country's deadliest disaster since the 2010 earthquake and tsunami that killed 500 people. Now let's turn to the business desk. The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says the national grid has been fully restored after a partial disturbance on Sunday. Ndidi Mba, TCN's General Manager, Public Affairs, in a statement in Abuja said that the company initiated immediate restoration of the affected part of the grid. According to the National Control Center, the Internet of Things, IoT, revealed that just before the partial disturbance, which occurred at Sapele Steam and Egbin substations, Mba said that sufficient generation allows for better grid management in the event of sudden generation losses like this, adding that TCN would investigate the cause of tripping of Sapele Steam and Egbin power generating units. Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, says the Deloitte audit revealed that $2.4 billion out of the reported $7 billion of outstanding foreign exchange liabilities of the federal government are not valid for settlement. He disclosed that the bank has settled verified FX requests, which amounted to $2.3 billion. The CBN governor added that the current total outstanding FX obligations stood at $2.2 billion. Meanwhile, the Naira traded near its all-time low despite improved liquidity. Market fundamentals show despite $2.2 billion facility from the African Import-Export Bank, the Naira is still under pressure due to the rising demand for the dollar. The Naira declining trend continues despite recent efforts by the Central Bank of Nigeria to support the foreign exchange market through interventions, raising worries about possible effects on the overall economy. And now in sports, the Egyptian Football Association, EFA, has announced that Rio Vitória has been sacked as Egypt head coach after the African football giants' hopes of a record extending 8th Africa Cup of Nations AFCON triumph were dashed last week. In a statement, the EFA Board of Directors thanked Portuguese manager Rio Vitória and his staff, adding he was reviewing foreign coaches' resumes. In the interim, former Al Ahly coach Mohamed Youssef will take charge of the national side, who were knocked out of the competition last week in a dramatic penalty shootout against Democratic Republic of Congo. And our former Brazilian football star Dani Alves went on trial in Barcelona, accused of raping a woman in a local nightclub. Prosecutors are demanding a 9-year prison sentence followed by 10 years of conditional liberty. They are also recommending he pay 150,000 euros in compensation to the woman. The 40-year-old former Barcelona, Juventus and Paris Saint-Germain defender was driven to court in a police van from a prison near the Catalan capital, where he has been held on remand since his arrest in January 2023. Alves was arrested after a young woman accused him of raping her in a bathroom of the VIP area of the upmarket Sultan nightclub in Barcelona in the early hours of December 31st, 2022. The 2026 World Cup final would take place at New Jersey's MetLife Stadium. The World Soccer governing body, FIFA, has announced. FIFA, in a release, unveiled the match schedule for FIFA World Cup 26, with the final to be held in New York, New Jersey on Sunday, July 19th, 2026. And the opening match featuring the Mexican national team is scheduled to take place at the iconic Estadio Azteca, Mexico City on Thursday, June 11th, 2026. Like Mexico, the national teams of Canada and the United States will each play their 3 group stage matches on home soil. Canada will kick off their campaign in Toronto on Friday, June 12, 2026, while the United States will begin their journey on the same day in Los Angeles. And that's it on the news cycle, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I am Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching and see you again.